this again. Okay, just want to share some thoughts about my Kyosho Thunder Tracker. I'm on my second one. Start off with that. The first one had something inherently wrong with it, and it was I got some smallish, and it was stripping gears. And so I had replaced the gears about 7 times, you know, at my own expense, my own time, all of that, and worked with Kyosho USA or America, whatever they go by, and worked with Derek. And Derek at customer service is amazing. If he had them in stock, he'd send it to me, no worries. And, you know, I would source them on eBay when I could, just so I could be expedient on getting it done. But after 7, I said, hey man, let me send in this chassis. Something is wrong somewhere. Like there's an alignment that's off. I mean, I've done all kinds of things. I was, you know, shaving thousands off where the 2-speed transmission is to make it closer to the motor, so the gear mesh would be tighter. It felt like when it was shifting so hard it was ripping gears, and that's basically what was happening. Now I couldn't figure out how to fix that, and I looked at several different things. There aren't really any adjustments on this model for gear mesh or anything like that. You know, this is kind of a beginner's, well, no doubt, it's a beginner's model with some neat features like a 2-speed transmission and reverse. And so, you know, when I got it, really excited, of course, followed, you know, all the instructions for getting the tune right. And I haven't, it had probably been 20 years since I've owned a Nitro RC. And the first time I owned it, I certainly didn't follow any modalities that were designed for the longevity or the experience of you know, tuning the Nitro, and end up kind of relying on my dad to fix it after I messed it up. So, and that was a Nitro RS4. So I wanted to get back into it, and this model looks amazing. You know, I'm a Ford guy, so I got my own Ford body and painted it, but I love the paint scheme, you know, the stance of it. It was, you know, it's just a cool model. And so, you know, Kyosho is a big company. It's been around a long time. They make really good products. And so I thought, hey, let me pick this up. Well, in doing so, it came, I got it from A-Main, and you know, took a day to tune it and to break it in, take it really slow. And that very first day I stripped a gear, and I was like, oh my God, this can't be real. So I started learning about, you know, tuning the clutch. I started learning about tuning the 2-speed clutch, the clutch inside the bell housing, and buying products for that. And so I actually changed the clutch to create a fiber clutch and an aluminum on the other side, so it would kind of have a hybrid between early response and later, just trying to soften the blow on power. And messing with sooner versus later engagements of second gear, nothing worked. Kept stripping gears. So I learned a lot during this process, things that I didn't know because I've been into electric the whole time that I've had RC. So I'm talking to Derek. He's been really helpful, and I ended up asking if I could just send the chassis back. Just look, let me take my custom parts off, have a bumper, body, some lighter weight wheels. I did that too. Put smaller wheels and tires on there in hopes that the rotational resistance as it shifted into second maybe was so high that it was jerking into second. So trying to figure that part out. Well, I took everything off and I shipped it to him, and a few weeks later I get a FedEx notification that I have a box that weighs 11 pounds supposedly that was sent out at about 4 pounds. I'm like, what are they sending me? And the box comes and I open it up and it's a whole brand new truck. Wow, that's great. I don't have any experience dealing with RC manufacturers. This may be the norm out there, I don't know, but for me, I thought it was great. They didn't bother replacing anything on mine and sending me back the old truck. They just sent me a fresh truck, which is great. So broken it in, and I'll share the video with some of the running today. I just ran out of fuel, so it's really short. But a couple of things. If you get this truck, understand that it is four-wheel drive, but this is a smooth surface truck. This barely has enough kick in the pants to get through grass on level ground. And 2-speed transmission is fun. It's fun on the street. It's probably fun on a packed surface, but anything outside of that, and it just bogs down. It just doesn't have the power to get where you need to go, and that's on either truck. So top speed on the thing is probably over 30 miles an hour, which is fun. But it's level ground, low profile grass, low, or packed dirt, that kind of thing. It does not have the power like an electric would to bash and just climb everything and blow through stuff. It doesn't have that kind of juice. And it probably, obviously isn't designed to. So I'm not trying to hate on the product. I just wasn't expecting it to sort of suffer in that way. I was expecting it to be a bit hotter than it is. And I don't know, I haven't done the research, but it looks like the bell housing style and the way the bell housing goes onto the motor, it looks like it may be, you got to kind of take more apart of this motor if you wanted to upgrade the motor. You probably have to keep the bell housing and clutch set up, and probably the shaft that goes into the motor. I'm not sure. And the flywheel probably has to come off. There's probably more to replacing it. I don't think you're gonna be able to do any kind of a drop-in with this setup. So, I would like a better motor, but it is what it is. I think I'm just gonna enjoy it for what it is and move on. But I really like the scale look and the scale appeal of it. It is fun on level ground and packed surfaces, without a doubt. Shifting into second's always cool. So take it for what it's worth. Customer service from Kyosho is top notch. It is a fun model. It's a cool model. The RC Driver review online. If you've got a track you can take it to, like a bicycle track or something like that, where you can jump it on those tables and you can do some of the flat surface, that's what it's made for. It is not really a basher. That even though it's in the basher price, that's not really what it is. But overall, very cool model. Has some complexity. The hose that attaches the pressure from the exhaust into the tank is too small, and it is kinked from the factory, and it will not run wide open throttle in my experience. I'll say to put a picture in here, but basically you have to put a longer hose that has a bigger loop on it Not a big deal, but they need to get that right, because at higher RPM, it doesn't have enough flow, I guess, to maintain. But as soon as I change that hose, no difference in the tuning, it'll go full bore. Like you see it going up the hill, or trying to, the little short run I had before I ran out of fuel on the pavement, it was able to go full bore, and it will not go full speed with that little bit of hose to pressurize the tank. So that's my review. Cool model. Just to understand some of the nuances with it. I don't think this one's going to give me any problems, but if yours did, Kyosho's there to support you. There's not a lot to get from a budget standpoint in Nitro anymore, and this is probably the best that there is. So get it, get used to it, and you know, get something maybe 8th scale, a little faster for your next model. Thanks. Okay, so here are some of the mods that I've made to the truck. You can see the big filter, the smaller wheels and tires. There's even aluminum foil that I've taped, any kind of a backing with foil on that gas tank. That exhaust will eventually melt that gas tank, so you need to insulate the gas tank. You'll see the large silicone hose going to the fuel tank. That's for the pressure. The stock one does not have enough pressure, like I talked about in my review, for it to run at full RPM. And then you have the big silicone exhaust extension on the tip. I did that because I'm running a 1/8 scale body, which doesn't fit perfectly. But this is it in its filthy state after running through some grass. Okay, so this is the exterior and the modifications I've made. This is the 84 F-150 body. It is 1/8 scale. It's not a perfect fit. The rear fender well I had to cut really huge. The wheels are a lot smaller. They're probably, you know, 1/3 smaller than the stock wheels. I really feel like the truck has an easier time accelerating with those lighter wheels. I did add the Kyosho bumper, so you do have that as an option. Overall, pretty mean looking truck. I did paint the body to be the similar paint scheme that comes factory because I really like that color scheme.